Today, we are diving into a massive idea, one that connects the tiny little things we do every day to the entire epic story of human history. And it all kicks off with a pretty wild question. What in the world does a tip for your favorite video game have to do with the future of our entire species? I know, it sounds a little out there, but stick with me, because the answer reveals something absolutely fundamental about who we are. So, our story starts with something you've probably heard of, the 1% rule. The idea is basically this: small, consistent habits are like compound interest for self-improvement. Getting just 1% better each day doesn't sound like much, but over time, it leads to this incredible, explosive growth. It's those tiny choices that end up making all the difference.
And what does this look like in the real world? Well, it is literally everywhere. It's you figuring out a new flavored water recipe to trick yourself into staying hydrated. It's a kid redeeming a Roblox code for a quick 2,000 points. It's a gamer finding a new trick for Zenless Zone Zero, or even a sideshow performer who finally nails a brand new act. These are the little sparks of information, the tiny life hacks we come up with every single day.
Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. These little improvements, these hacks, they don't just stay in our own heads. We share them. And this brings us to the idea of learning inside a group, a tribe, which, as you'll see, can be both a powerful launchpad and a hard ceiling.
See, the key thing to get is that we are not islands. We don't learn this stuff in a vacuum. That game tip or water recipe suddenly gets supercharged when you share it with your friends, your online community, your tribe. We are constantly passing these little bits of know-how back and forth.
But this is a real two-sided coin. Think about an online community like Adana School. If you're a beginner, you need that momentum, that hype. It's a fantastic launching pad. But what if you're already an expert? Well, that same group can actually hold you back. It can become a ceiling that limits how far you can go. The tribe giveth, and the tribe can take it away.
And this ceiling effect, man, it can have a pretty dark side. Just look at the Algonquin Round Table back in the 1920s. You had the sharpest, wittiest minds in America meeting up every single day. And yet, so many of them were just deeply lonely, depressed people. It's a powerful reminder that even the most brilliant groups can have their shadows.
All right, so we've gone from a Roblox code all the way to the complicated dynamics of genius friend groups. So now let's pull the camera way, way back and see how this whole thing scales up to explain the secret of our species' success. That whole cycle we've been talking about, one person has a little breakthrough, they share it with the group refines it. That's not just some modern internet thing. No, that is the engine that has powered all of human progress for hundreds of thousands of years.
Evolutionary biologist Joe Henrich just nails it with this quote. Our species-defining trait, our superpower, isn't that we were born with these massive individual brains. It's that we're ridiculously social. It's better to be social than smart, because by being social, we became smart.
And this plugs right into a concept called dual inheritance theory. Now, the best way to think about this is like a computer. Our genetic inheritance, that's our biological hardware. It's what's in our genes, and it evolves so slowly. But our cultural inheritance, that's our software. It's all the ideas, the skills, the knowledge we share, and it can be updated in a single generation. It's lightning fast. And all of this leads us to the huge central idea of this whole explainer, the collective brain. The theory is that our real power as a species isn't what's inside any one person's skull. It's the massive, interconnected network of knowledge that's distributed among all of us. It's a shared intelligence that is so much greater than the sum of its parts.
Okay, so if humanity has this giant planet-spanning collective brain, what fuels it? What's the power source that makes the whole engine run?
What is the fundamental battery pack for this whole system? What keeps the lights on for our collective brain? Well, the answer is so simple, it's almost deceptive.
Energy. That's it. At the absolute heart of everything, every innovation, all cooperation, pretty much all of life itself, is the drive to capture and use energy. And that drive for energy creates this incredible feedback loop. It works like this. Step 1, we figure out how to capture some new source of energy. Think discovering fire, building a windmill, or splitting an atom. Step 2, that extra energy allows us to cooperate in bigger and more complex groups. And step 3, that bigger, better cooperation leads to even more innovation, which, you guessed it, helps us capture even more energy. And the cycle just keeps going. And the results are just night and day. When energy is cheap and abundant, societies tend to cooperate. It creates a win-win world, a positive-sum game where new possibilities are always opening up. But when energy gets scarce, things get ugly. The world flips to a win-lose, zero-sum game that almost always leads to conflict and starts slamming doors on progress.
So, let's bring all this home. If our cultural evolution is our software and energy is our power source, what does that actually mean for us, right now? How do we use this knowledge to steer our own future?
I mean, this is the ultimate question, isn't it? If our society runs on this kind of cultural operating system that we've all built together, how can we consciously and intentionally upgrade it? How do we debug the code to deal with the insane challenges we're facing today?
Well, the source material offers a few huge ideas for this software upgrade. We need to innovate how we govern ourselves, experimenting with radical new ideas like startup cities. We have to shatter inequality, because every person held back by their circumstances is a genius mind that our collective brain loses out on. And maybe most important, we have to protect and foster true diversity of thought, real free speech, because that's the raw material for our cultural evolution.
The biologist Stephen Jay Gould put the stakes of all this just perfectly. He said he was less interested in the brain of Einstein himself than in the near certainty that countless other Einsteins have lived and died in cotton fields and sweatshops. And that's the challenge this whole theory leaves us with, to stop wasting all that human potential and to finally build a world that unleashes the genius inside every single one of us.